Welcome to Dugout Discussions. I'm your host, Todd Scott Miller. And joining me today is the salsa queen herself, Maria Perez. And she's coming from Instagram. That's actually where I met her and saw her on there and her salsa, which, by the way, this is how good it was. I didn't even watch this. I was scooping it out. And saw her on Instagram, and I saw the salsa, and I was like, you sound like you got a good story. And I slid into her DMs because, and yeah, just so y'all know that you can do it without starting with, hey, baby. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because my wife gets about 30,000 of those a day, right?
Right.
Like, come on, man. At least be creative. But anyway, Maria, just welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
And the salsa queen, I see you post like the salsa queen and the salsa cartel.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get into salsa?
Salsa. It actually began because when I moved here from California, I didn't know many people. Mm-hmm. And then I started meeting some people in the neighborhood. So they've invited me over to parties and stuff. So I remember I called my mom because at home I didn't usually cook it much. It was always my mom or my grandma or somebody. But I was like, hey, Mom, how do you make that salsa? Tell me how to make it. And so I started taking it. And then I did variations also myself. So I started taking it to parties and everybody was like, whoa, this is really good, And after hearing it about, maybe at 5 different parties that I would take it, bring chips and salsa, they would tell me, you need to sell it. You need to sell it. So I was like, well, maybe. And then Chris was like, well, maybe you have something here, So he's the one that actually researched all like the licensing and the testing and all that stuff, because I even told him, well, I'm glad I have you, because I would have been like, yeah, I'm not going to do all that. I was like, it's just like the testing and all of that stuff. I was like, the licensing, I would have been like, well, I'll make it at home and sell it to you. It's like, that would have been me, but no. But that's how we got started.
Okay.
And then everybody, had received very good reviews and people like it. So, yeah.
So you kind of share a story on the jar about where it comes from and
right, yeah, it's from my parents' hometown. My parents were born in Michoacan, Mexico, as well as my grandparents. So it's Islán de los Herbores, and it's in Michoacan. So that's originally, I believe, that's where, yeah, it all came from, because it's my grandma's recipe, then my mom's, and everybody makes it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, thank
you.
I'm
just gonna say, and I understand the whole sauce business, right? Because my wife's Italian.
Oh, okay.
So it's a different kind of sauce.
Yeah.
But it's serious business, and there's cartels. There are real cartels. These people are crazy. But but salsa in Texas is a big deal.
Right.
So when you show up and you're like, people like this, that's something, because there's restaurants go out of business because they have bad salsa.
Right. And actually I have some funny some guy, my tennis coach, he bought a case from me. He's like, I actually take this to the Mexican restaurant across the street because their salsa is horrible. So I take it with me to the restaurant and use it. I'm eating their food. I was like, he's like, it's like the best salsa. Can I take it anywhere?
Man, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet because it didn't make it that far. My kids were mad because I ate almost the whole jar by myself, but
right.
That no one cares what they think. So you mentioned that Chris kind of helped you, and Chris is your
my husband.
Your husband, mm-hmm. And he kind of helped you with the other stuff. And one of the things that I've talked about, like with Rosalind and with her business, is her and her husband kind of work together,
right? And
that kind of makes a difference when you have someone who helps and they kind of do the things you're not good at or don't like doing.
Yeah, because I like the creative part and all of that stuff, and he's very good with like numbers and making sure that we're doing everything like meets code, whatever it is that the recipe, he had to send it to several labs and stuff like that to make sure that it's being done correctly. So he does well with all of that. Sorry.
Salsa order.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe we should take it. Yeah. 50 jars on the way. So, but yeah, that makes a difference, having, and that's been a common theme is, having people to support you and help you through all this as you do it. And now, so you moved from California and started doing the salsa and started getting into that. What kind of got you moving towards the business? You know, Chris is helping and things like that. But you had talked too about as you went through it, you didn't know everything. You just kind of.
I mean, and we still don't know a lot. I mean, there's still a lot to learn for all of us. But I think Instagram has honestly like helped us. It has helped us meet people who along the way have helped us and given us some guidance. Like, I mean, we're in the talks with maybe, you know, hopefully getting into grocers here, and that's because a follower that liked the salsa, his wife is a buyer for a certain company, you know, so that it's been Instagram. A lot of it has grown it, and then us being at the farmers markets, you know, like we were doing that for about a year now. So every weekend the farmers markets and different events to getting out there and trying to get our name and our brand out. So that has helped us a lot.
It's interesting how the Instagram thing
you
helps.
just meet.
And a lot of people don't. You know, there's a lot of bad talking about like social media and stuff, but Instagram's kind of interesting because what I recently did this class and they talked about how it's the fastest growing for brand recognition. And I think it's probably because you post a picture. Yeah,
and it's like you keep posting, you know, yourself. You're selling yourself as well as your like product. So
that's. And people buy from you,
right?
But they buy that,
right?
And they're like, okay, this seems like somebody who she looks like she knows how to make salsa.
Try.
She says she's the salsa queen. I'll take some.
I'll
take some. But and I think that whole not knowing everything but still doing it is something that people struggle with. And I think it's good for him to hear that from somebody who's growing it and starting to get to that point where maybe we're going to make it to the grocery store level and things like that, because that stops a lot of people is I don't know. Or I can't see how I'm going to get there, or so they never start.
Right. It's like you won't know unless you try.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, we're learning everything. I mean, there's like, oh, I didn't know I had to do that. Like, oh, do I have to do that? Oops, sorry, you know. But it's like you just go and you try to figure it out.
And you learn along the way.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually you can kind of, you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, you just hope it all works out.
But it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Is the getting started and just taking some action. Because it's scary. Because they don't want to make those mistakes.
Right.
But that's where you learn.
Yeah.
And so what do you do if this becomes a big thing? You're going to...
I mean, well, I'm going to be proud.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully it does. It's like fingers crossed. But, I mean, I don't know.
What's Grandma think about it?
My grandma actually passed away a couple of years ago now, maybe.
What's 2017. Mom think about it?
Oh, my mom loves it. Like my son's leaving there on Saturday because he goes and spends the summer in California. So my dad's all like, okay, can you send me some of this one and some of that one? You know, like make sure. But he promotes it at work, and it's like, oh look, this is my daughter's. You know, it's like, and my mom's very proud of it too. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so that makes me, you know, like give me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
That's good. And occasionally, though, I see you with this Dodgers hat on.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I'm just saying. Got some Astros stuff in here with this Dodgers thing, but
I know. I'm originally from California. And that's where all my family's still at. I don't actually have any family here, but
okay. And you guys moved here with Chris' work?
Yeah, with Chris.
Okay. So you also, I see you occasionally post some craft stuff.
Right, yeah.
And now I know that you do sell it a little bit, but that's kind of just because.
Right, yeah. That's just my side side business. I love to do that stuff. And it's like I tell Chris all the time, I can spend all day in my craft room and I'm like happy. Sometimes I forget, that I've been there like all day, and it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't like work. I was like, but it doesn't really feel like work. I just like it. So that's why I do it. And I was like, I get to be creative, or just put stuff. I like sewing and I like painting and doing stuff like that. So
do the creative stuff, and just like making the salsa.
yeah, like that's my side, and he's the logistics and following the rules and all that.
That's not my thing either. I get that.
I was like, I don't like rules. I tell him.
So you kind of do that to kind of, you enjoy it,
right?
But does it help you relax? And
yeah, it does. It helps me relax and stay because sometimes, other than tennis, I usually go and they want to go to lunch every day, and it's just like, well, I don't want to do that every day. But it gives me something to do at home, because the salsa, we'll make it. Now we're trying to get into like a co-packer. If we're going to have the volume of a grocery store, we have to be prepared to I won't be able to make it, in the commercial kitchen, or so we don't make it as often. So it's like it keeps me busy every once in a while, but in between that I need other things. It's and my son's 14, so it's not like I'm at we're at his baseball games and stuff, but it doesn't keep me as busy. I was like, I need something for me to do. So.
Yeah, something kind of do something a little different and relax a little bit and find a little time.
Yeah. And I do it while I'm watching the novelas too, so I can hear them in the background. And
what's the novelas?
that's the TV. Mexican, soap opera.
Yeah.
So that's what I usually watch. Chris is like, oh, the Spanish is going on. She's in her craft room. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've watched it, but I don't know what's going on. I usually just do bad lip reading when I'm watching it and make stuff up. But
yeah, Chris would actually tried watching it. He invented his own story once to it. He's like, this is what I think is going on. It's like, yeah, no. I'm
going to have to go get drinks with Chris. No.
Yeah.
So I think that's something too, that as you're doing this, because you mentioned you've been doing the farmers markets every weekend. Mm-hmm. And that takes a lot. Yeah. Because you don't really have any free time.
Yeah.
And it's tough doing this.
Yeah, it is. And then especially, because I don't usually work during the week, but Chris does, and he works at home during the week, and then he goes and helps me. So he's been a great support, because he'll go and do the markets with me. So it's like we don't have our weekends to hang out with our friends or just do. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're trying to get away a little bit from the markets, just to give it a little bit of break, even if it's just the summer for now.
Yeah.
To be able to have some time for us.
Have a couple weekends. Go to the beach or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's important as you grow in this and I think this is something that's good for people to understand too, is have a little time where you can kind of relax.
Right, yeah.
And I had Albert, who sponsors this show, and he does the bars, and he was in our first show. I had him come help me kick off a new one. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a new show coming out, and we talked a lot about that, because a lot of times you get so in the detail that your brain is almost fried, because it's all you can think is how many bottles can I make today, and do I have fresh ingredients, and you're just so in the details that you forget about anything bigger, and you get kind of
overwhelmed.
Yes.
Yeah, even with my crafting, sometimes I have to say okay, I'm done. I'm done for the day, because I can't I'm not doing it right. I'm getting frustrated and I'm just leaving. I was
take a step back.
Yeah. It's I don't have my creative juices right now. I'm not going to do it right, so I have to get back to it when I'm feel like it,
Yeah. And I think that's hard for especially for entrepreneurs to do, because you get into the grind and it's I got to keep grinding. I got to keep doing it. Yeah. I got to just keep, and it doesn't, you end up working against yourself at some point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it's tough, but it's fun too.
Yeah, it is.
Because you get to see something grow. Parents share it. Dad's look at this. This is my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I got 2 girls. I can just, I would be the same. It would be like, okay, well, this is my daughter. Like when she goes and plays the bass, or
Right.
the other one does a concert, and it's sharing, look at her, she's on stage. It's a terrible thing. But family. But it's good to have family that's supporting you in this.
Yeah.
That helps too.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't always get that. A lot of people doing this, they don't. Family's like, what are you doing?
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, my parents were very supportive since I told them. He's like, yeah, you should give it a try. You should do it, My mom's like, why are you guys not doing the farmers markets over the summer? I was like, well, we're just kind of, I don't know. For right now, we're going to take a little break. I was like, but we're going to hopefully get back to them, or some of the bigger shows like in the fall that have the Christmas times, all of that. I know there's a big one in Katy and stuff like that around here.
Yeah. And we got one right outside the neighborhood here.
Okay.
It's every Saturday.
Oh, every Saturday? Oh.
Yeah. It's a long drive for you guys.
Yeah,
but,
it was a long way
yeah.
today. But.
Bring me enough jars and the girls go sell them.
Oh, I know.
I'm sure they'll do it. Nah, probably not.
I actually had my son there too for when we just started. He would go out there and sell with me on the farmers markets. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's a family thing sometimes.
Yeah.
That's good when they support you and they help you.
Yeah, he'll help every once in a while too, and label jars and stuff like that. He can do.
Yeah. So the new segment I have coming is about family.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked some about that, how the family dynamic has changed, because years ago, kids you went to school like a half a day, and then you went home and you worked in the family business, and you learned the family trade, and you did. So you hung out more with family than really you do now. Now it's like,
get home from school, you go into your room.
yeah, and it's very separated.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're at school and you're at work, and then when you come home, you're still separated. And then there's been this change in the dynamic. So it's good that you can get him helping you sometimes, and
yeah, sometimes talking and get him out to be more, because he has trouble too, like speaking to people. So it was like that was helping him to talk to strangers.
So a little introverted, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am. It takes me a while to get comfortable, and then it can be a little. People say I don't shut up sometimes, but I was like, those are my friends that have known me forever. And even then, I still I think I'm more of I listen to people when we're in groups for the most part, instead of being the one that talks a lot. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I know those introverts, man. They have a rough time. I got a couple of them out there right now talking to your husband, and they're probably like, I'm having to speak. I'm going to die here.
Yeah.
So, but you're selling this, and you're working on it, and you got the potential deal with the grocery chain coming.
Yeah, hopefully.
And that's in West Texas?
Yes, West Texas. Yep. Lubbock.
Okay, yeah. And is it like a regional chain, or?
Yeah, I think it is. We're gonna see who. I think they have several, but we're.
Yeah, it's Lubbock. It's way out there.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll still have it available. We're still planning on going to the farmers markets around here, but yeah.
Well, that'd be good. You did HEB. It's HEB. How do you get in there?
I don't know. We entered to for their contest. There was their Best of Texas or something contest, but I think the first rounds they don't actually try the stuff. It's based on your story and all of the information that you provide to them. So we submitted that, but they haven't notified us of anything, so I don't know if we made the first round. And then I think after that first round, then they request samples of your product. So
yeah, HEB's like it's like salsa. It's a Texas tradition, so it's
yeah. But they did tell us too, once you get into some, it'll be easier to get into others. Into some grocery stores, it's easier for others to want you.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, but don't like to count my chickens before they hatch. Like,
No. How about any restaurants? Have you been able to talk to any restaurants?
we haven't tried doing that. No,
They all like doing their own.
I think so. Yeah, they usually just make it.
That's that whole cartel thing, right? Everybody's got their own recipe.
Right. Yeah.
Mine's better. No, it ain't better than that. I'll tell you that. But yeah, some of it. Now, how do you usually serve it? Warm or cold?
I prefer it cold for the most part, but I mean, you can serve it like room temperature, or you can put it warm too. Like we use it to cook a lot, so I'll dump it on meat and then season it so then it's warm. But either way, I guess.
Okay. I know some places they serve theirs warm and some serve it room temp. Some serve it cold. So
yeah, because you can have it either. I mean, it doesn't matter which way. Yeah, like if it's on like tacos, like street tacos, usually just cold on it. And if you're cooking with it, it's going to get warm. So
yeah, okay.
It just depends on what.
I'm just asking how it's supposed to be so that I know.
Yeah, and then eggs and stuff, you put it on there like probably cold from the fridge. Because once you open it, we keep it in the fridge, and Chris will put it on his eggs or whatever in the morning too, on everything usually.
Yeah, I understand because it's pretty tasty. Yeah, we were just talking about it, and my girls were like, "Yeah, he sat down and ate the whole jar." What? Yeah. There's still some in there because there's a verde.
Oh yeah, the green.
Yeah, my wife likes the salsa verde. She likes that one.
Yeah,
I like the really spicy. So it's and my older daughter, she likes spicy food.
Oh, does she?
And the younger one, kind of spicy. My wife is like salt spicy. She's
yeah. See, I like the mild. I prefer the taste, or even the medium too. But I like more mild, and Chris prefers the hotter the better. So I was like, he's like, you'd think you'd prefer the hot stuff. I was like, yeah, no, I like.
Maybe it's the red beards. He's got a red beard too. Maybe that's what it is. So, well, anyway, I hope it works out.
Thank you.
I hope it keeps going and growing, and I hope you get a little break this summer.
Yeah.
And but it's so you're on Instagram at Tia Maria's Salsa.
Yes, at Tia Maria's Salsa.
Tia Maria's Salsa on Instagram. That's the best place to go find her and get it. Follow her on there and hear the story and see some recipes.
Right. We put the recipes and we use I use pictures from other people that have posted it to repost their pictures. If you have the salsa, send us pictures with the recipes. I mean, with the
share your pictures back and whatever you do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot, and it's like every now and then one will pop up, and I'm like, California, and then it's like, New York. Like, where is she? She's like all over the place.
Yeah, no, just repost people's post pictures. I was like, hey, they look good. The salsa.
Well, good. Well, I hope this all works out for you.
Thank you.
I mean, and it's because I like to see when people do something like this and they become successful at it and it goes really well because it makes the heart warm. Yeah. It really does, because you see so many people who are grinding it every day and not making it, and then man, when one breaks free, you're like, yeah. So I hope it really works out for you.
Thank you.
And if you, like I said, Tia Maria's Salsa, if you haven't, you need to check her out because she's a website too. What's your website?
Yeah, at www.tiamariasalsa.com.
It's really good. Trust me on this. And I've been eating this stuff like since I was young, a kid. And like I said, my wife's Italian, so the whole sauce business, I get how serious that is because
I was actually scared for when it went out to my cousins and stuff because I was like, what are they going to say? Because, they've kind of, she's like, wow, this is really good. She's like, you just don't expect like the fresh taste out of a jarred salsa. She's like, that's what you don't. Like, it's different like that because it doesn't have the preservatives or sugars and stuff.
And it does. It tastes like it was just made.
Yeah, that's what she's like. You don't expect it from a jar. So even my cousins and stuff, which I thought they were, like it's good.
Well, that's good when the cousins like it.
Because they've had it too before. So.
Yeah, I've got a few cousins who like my stuff, and then a few who are not.
No, yeah.
But that's okay. Not everybody gets me. I'm kind of special. But anyway, I really do want to thank you for coming and joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Because I know it's a long drive from home.
Yeah.
I know you guys were way up on the north side. People don't understand Houston's an hour away from Houston.
It's big.
It's huge, and it's like you guys are on the north side. We're kind of on the southwest, and what did you say, 84 miles?
Yeah, 84 miles.
84 miles. And we'll both claim we live in Houston. So
I'd always say Houston area.
It's like when you apply for a job that says Houston, you're like, what part of town? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, what part of town?
Yeah.
So anyway, well, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
And bringing the salsa and sending it to me. And I hope this works for you.
Thank you.
Because it's really good, and I'd like to be able to get it at the grocery store.
Yeah, it'll be closer.
So thank you. And thank you for joining us. And like I said, you need to get some, try it out, and you'll like it. Trust me. And this is the coach signing off. God bless you.